Joining me to discuss is Democratic strategist David Carlucci and Republican strategist Elizabeth Pipko. Thank you very much to the both of you.
Good evening. Good to be with you.
All right, it's day 26 of this shutdown. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calling the Republicans' refusal to negotiate, quote, legislative insanity. Elizabeth, in your notes to me, you tell me that Democrats are the ones playing a dangerous game. But isn't it the Republicans that are facing the most animosity from the American public at this time as the shutdown continues? And what really do you think it's going to take? How many failed votes until they feel obligated to come to the table?
Well, that's a good question. That's a question many Americans are asking right now. How many failed votes until the Democrats come to the table and vote on that clean CR bill that was put forward that would keep the government open for a few weeks right now? We only need 5 more Democrats, as you said in the preview to the segment. And the fact is, I think when it comes to doing the right thing, you do the right thing regardless of what polling shows. And that's number one. Number two, I actually could argue that Donald Trump's poll numbers have gone up since the shutdown. But either way, you do the right thing regardless of what you think is going to come back to bite your party in the end. And the fact is the Republicans put forward this clean bill. They've offered to continue, of course, negotiating once the government is reopened. And I think at the end of the day, when people start realizing what has happened here, the blame is obviously going to be placed on Democrats. But of course, when the American people are suffering, it shouldn't even be a blame game. It should not be a game of let's stand up to Donald Trump as long as we can, reach out to our supporters, raise some money off of it and see what we can get done. It should be let's keep the government open, make sure Americans are paid and everything is functioning, and then try to bring what we want to the negotiating table.
David, so Elizabeth, they're blaming the Democrats, but when we take a look at some of these recent pollings, the voters are actually blaming both sides, but they're saying that the GOP is more to blame than the Democrats, 45-39, as you can see on your screen right there. David, what do you think? How might this impact both sides when it comes to elections in November, midterm elections next year? And I don't want you to just talk about only the Republicans and how it might impact them. Could this backfire against the Democrats that are running for election?
Well, yeah, I think this is a very, slippery issue, but one where we know the American people are paying attention. And you can't be the president and the speaker and the majority leader in the Senate and then take no responsibility for what happens with our government. The American people are smart and they see through it. The fact that the Republicans want the Democrats to just go along with the Republicans, who time and time again have said they want to repeal and replace. Remember, Donald Trump during the presidential debate said he had concepts of an idea. There's no trust here, not with the American people, and particularly not with members of Congress. The idea that they're going to give up all of their leverage on an idea that they're somehow going to negotiate down the road is absolutely absurd. And once Americans are paying more for their health insurance, they can only have Republicans to thank for that. So we're seeing this ripple across the board. It's having a major effect on quality of life and a major impact on our economy. And so the Republicans need to come to the table, roll up their sleeves, do the hard work that they were elected to do, and that's negotiate. Negotiate on deals that you might not agree with 100%, but if it's about doing the right thing, then it's about compromise. It's about working together to deliver for the American people. Right. Instead, the Republicans want to do the laziest thing and just say no. And I think the American people have had enough, and you see that translating through these polls.
Elizabeth, some critics might say that President Trump is opting for photo ops instead of figuring out this government shutdown and being here in Washington during this negotiation period. But obviously he is there in Asia, much to the chagrin of Democrats who said he should have canceled this trip. He was there in Malaysia earlier today dancing on the tarmac and then later signing that peace deal between Cambodia and Thailand. Do you think that criticism is fair? And if not, I mean, give me the argument about why relations with Asia is more important than figuring out this government shutdown.
Well, look, Democrats will criticize Donald Trump if he saved the kitten from a burning tree. OK, I've been saying that for 10 years. The fact is, when everyone talks about holding the government hostage, I believe the blame falls on the Democrats. And I don't think Donald Trump sitting in the Oval Office doing nothing and waiting for Democrats to come to the table and actually finally vote to reopen the government for the American people, I don't think that's going to do much for our country. The fact is, you can argue that The relationship between the United States and China is the most important relationship of the 21st century. We currently have a significant trade dispute with China that includes, of course, the freezing of rare earths. China is a major trading partner. When we have any kind of break in that relationship, you see that significant impact on the American economy. He's going forward with this not only to sign the peace deal that you mentioned between Cambodia and Thailand, but to try to salvage that relationship with China, to try to come to the table with a proper trade deal. And also remember, the deal that they make with China, any relationship we have with China, is also going to impact Donald Trump's ability to hold Putin hostage and try to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. He has a lot on his plate right now between the American economy, trying to end that war, of course, coming on the heels of ending the conflict, returning the hostages, thank God, from Gaza. The fact is he has a lot going on. He continues to succeed, and he's not going to stop succeeding so Democrats can try to take a victory lap.
David, does a successful trip to Asia, including a possible trade deal being reached with China, evaporate any concerns that the American public might have for the Trump administration, given what's happening in Washington and the shutdown?
Well, it's a must-have. We have to have a trade deal with China. And so failure is not an option. But it looks like the president is more interested in photo ops. A lot of these deals or details we just don't know yet. We hear a lot of these successes and celebrating before the deal is done. And that's extremely problematic. Look, there's a lot going on in our country. A lot of federal workers that are concerned that they're not going to have their pay at the end of this shutdown. And yet Donald Trump is traveling around the world. He's knocking down part of the White House, planning to spend $300 million on a ballroom so people can party instead of getting down to business and worrying about people paying their health care premiums. This is extremely problematic. And remember, Donald Trump is throwing around these tariffs much about ego. He's threatening Canada, our largest trading partner. He's running around the world trying to get a photo op instead of dealing with the hard issues that our president needs to deal with. And to just be the president and then blame the Democrats for everything else. Look, the buck stops with the president. But what is this president the best at? He's best at blaming. And that only goes so far, because once you blame everyone, you run out of people to blame and you only have yourself. I hope Donald Trump will realize that sooner than later so that we can actually help to improve people's lives in this country and put America first, as he says. But he needs to not just say it, he needs to do it. And we haven't seen that.
Got to leave it there. David Carlucci and Elizabeth Pipko, thank you very much for your time, folks.
Good to be with you. Thanks.
Tension